starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You're muted, Tez.
I'm so savvy. And listen, every time you're my co-host, you're co-hosting me like that. So we're gonna whip it around one more
Thank
time.
you.
All right, take two. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of B.A.D.D Business. I am your host, Shynen and Saffron, and today I have my lovely co-host back, Jazzy. Hi, Jazzy.
Hey, hi everyone. Glad to be back.
Oh my God. I
I
know
know, right?
it has not been that long, but I think
Oh
it's
no.
because I know that you are doing so many great things that I feel like so much is going on, right? So I just want to say welcome
Not enough
back.
at the same time. Not enough at the same time, though.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. We have missed you. I have missed you. It's only been one show since we've been without Jazzy, but it's been eternity to me. As you can see, she keeps me going. Luckily, last show I did start with my mic on. So
I
I'm growing
remember.
up.
I
I'm
was
growing
there.
up. I'm a big girl now. But then I get Jazzy on the stage and I get back to being codependent. So whatever. I need you. I love you, and I'm so glad to have you back. Welcome
Hey,
back.
I need you and I love you as well. So yes, let's do this because we got a great show.
We do. We do. I'm trying to make sure that I am on track with everything because I don't want to forget anything.
Yep.
Um, But again, thank you guys for joining us. This is Bad to Business, and if you are joining us for the first time in a while, I'm hoping Bad to Business is about bringing all diverse discussions to business. That is the acronym for BAD. And so we just work to bring a lot of diverse discussions to the business table, see if we can bring some type of unity and get some common ground to some things. Get the anger out of it and get some, some knowledge into it, and maybe change a perspective or change a mind or just change the way we move in some things. So it's
Hmm.
always worth a try. So again, just welcome. Happy Friday night to all those. I hope you had a great week. Jazz, I hope you had a great week. Hello to
I
everybody
sure did.
tuning in. Hello, Zilly. Hello, Yafe. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are ready for a good show today. We are, if you've been following, hopefully, we are discussing a new thing. A new thing. Both Jazz and I are going through things individually and collectively. And so we were just kind of discussing as much as we can stay in contact with each other during this transitional time period in our lives. Um, just what God has been doing for us and what we're embracing and what we're looking forward to. So we came up with this a new thing. And that was derived by Isaiah 43:19. And for those that
Hmm.
don't know that, can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I thought I was having some feedback. For those who do not know that particular scripture, it says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Do not dwell on the things from the past." I'm sorry, I should have read the one before, but it says, "Do not dwell on the former things of the past, for see, I am doing a new thing." And one of the things, the key thing that it says in that scripture is it says, "Do you not receive it?"
Hmm.
That is a big thing. That's a
Huge.
good question. Do you not receive it? So yeah, we want to kind of talk about doing a new thing. Um, Tonight we'll be talking about just new beginnings, and about embracing the unfamiliar, and about recognizing when God or life is trying to, do some things and call us to step into some new positions and some new roles, and even get out of the old seasons of feeling comfortable. So we just want to kind of embark on some new things.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Jazz, you got some new things going on. So
Well, and
I don't want to just, I'm so excited. First of all, I am. I'm trying to contain a lot. I got some new earrings. Okay. First of all, let me go ahead and give a shout out to Miss C at Renaissance Middle School. I'm not gonna give up too much of your information right now, until I can go ahead and give you your just due. But it says Faith on them.
They're gorgeous.
Thank you, thank you. And of course,
Hmm.
I had to go
Hmm.
ahead and get an ensemble.
Of course.
But it is a new thing, and it's a whole lot of new things going on. And even with the entrepreneurs that we have been talking to and doing things like that, um, I'm excited. I'm really
Yeah.
excited. So, um, but I want to ask right now, Jazzy, while you're going through, before you give your testimonial journey or whatever you might want to share with us this time, because I know you don't want to give too much away as you're still kind of unfolding in some things. Um, what does letting go of the old look like to you? Now you can use whatever instances you want, of course.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay. I know, right? So actually, and that's really the best question because it does lead us into what's been going on. So as you know, I haven't been on a couple shows. I've been transitioning. I've been introduced to a new thing, and I'm leaving old things behind. So really letting go of the old in like your daily life is, old habits. You can do a little bit each day, like we talked about in the previous show. It takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So a little bit each day goes a long way. So, but in the long term, grudges, forgiving people, even just in general, letting go of, in my case, a whole life
I was,
that I had,
I was wondering if you was gonna say it like that. That's awesome.
a
Letting go
whole
of a
life.
whole life. Okay.
Yeah. So for those of you who have been following us, as you know, I've been doing our shows from Albuquerque. And I actually had a 3-year layover, and I finally caught my flight out, and I have moved to Phoenix, Arizona, which is where I'm at right now. So those of you that are following, if you're in Phoenix, if you see me in the streets, say hello. But
Yes.
basically, I had to, and I mean, you were there. I mean, we've talked about it. Like, I manifested this dream, and well, it was nowhere on my radar. My brother lived out here, my cousin lived out here. I helped them move out here. It was, my dad was like, "Oh, why don't you move to Phoenix?" It was like, "Nah, why would I move to Phoenix? Who would? Why? I'm gonna help my brother move out here, and that's it." But after things happened in New Mexico, and I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm done here. There's nothing here to keep me. Why I didn't mean to stay here as long as I did. Again, 3-year layover. And I decided to go. And the closest state was Arizona, next state over. And I decided, let it all go and start over. Like literally start over. Like
Now
I got
I just want
everything.
to touch on something real quick because you said it was the closest state. Let's not talk about convenience with you because let's let them know you are a driver.
Yeah.
You're just short of having 18 wheels. Okay. You are that driver. Jazz
Dream
and I have
job.
been on some trips that I just will not get behind the wheel because I enjoy, the car ride.
Sleeping.
I like you see I
Sleeping.
did the vibration. Okay, I enjoy the car ride.
Sleeping.
Whatever that leads to. Okay, feet out the window. It doesn't matter. I can't do all
No,
that
I
driving.
do like driving. I do like
Um,
driving. And it wasn't
but
really convenience. It wasn't really convenience. It was more so, again, I had family that was out here. I did come to visit when they stayed out here, and I enjoyed it. I liked the people. I liked the scenery. It was nice. I didn't mind it. So why not? It's a new place. Nobody knows my name. Nobody knows who I
hey,
am. Hey, I just want to go
go
where nobody knows my
from
name.
where
Okay,
everybody knows your name to
to
nobody.
nobody.
That's a whole new
Nobody. Yo, because Albuquerque is that small. You run into people, you see people all the time, and I was done. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. So I
decided to
left. Goodbye.
Well, now, even with you having family there prior, and it's funny that you say that because
and
you know
still,
I
and
had family
still.
here, and friends here. I know some people there. You have some work relationships there. So let's talk on going decision to transition. Okay. When we're talking about a new thing, how do you know? Because I mean, you had a brother there, you had your family there, but yet you're there by yourself at this point. So,
Yeah, everybody has moved back. Yeah, everybody moved back to Atlanta.
so
So,
where was the decision? From how did you go from decision to transition? Like how do you know? And then I'll give you an example of me. But how did you know that it was time? What kind of feeling? What type of thing? What type of thing did you have? What type of sign did God give you that said it was time for a new thing?
um, actually, really,
Without
to be
going all
honest,
into detail,
no,
but
I know. I was gonna say, really, to be honest, I probably got that sign probably a year ago. Um, and I tried to pursue a different direction, and I decided when that didn't work out, it was like, okay, I should have probably left a long time ago, and I didn't, and that was on me. And it was like, if he was going to give me another chance to do it, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to go where you want me to go. So I hope to go there. It was really anywhere in Arizona, but it was like Phoenix was familiar. Plus, with the job that I had, I knew customers out here. You know, I do have two cats, so I worked in the pet industry. So, with that being said, I was relying on places that I knew I could connect and my cats would still be okay. So
okay,
that's another reason that kind of made me lean towards Phoenix, because my customer base was all located in Phoenix. So um that was part of the decision, and like I said, I probably should have left a year ago and I didn't. So when I knew that my lease was coming up, like it was probably what, April or May. I think you and I talked, I think you came to visit me in May for my birthday. So probably on that trip when you came, it was like, you know what? Like my lease is up in 6 months. I don't really have nothing to stay here for. Why not? Let's go somewhere else.
well, you
And
mentioned a layover. You mentioned a layover, a 3-year layover. So I'm going
yeah,
to believe that you never really intended on staying. So it was always a fire in your heart to to move somewhere else. Now, even with that being
oh yeah,
said, though,
oh yeah.
so you had a 3 year. I just wanted to say 3 hours so bad because that's
3 hour tour, a 3 hour tour. Yep.
But in that 3 years, you know, even though you planned it to be a stop and go, so in 3 years, you develop work relationships, probably a,
Friendship.
companionship relationship, things like that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
how do you leave what's familiar? Now, you did say that Phoenix was somewhat familiar because you do have a customer base and stuff like that. So how did you decide to where did it feel like it was okay to leave the unknown and the unfamiliar to go to a new thing? Was it something in your head? Did you just wake up and say, you know what, like you said, you thought about it in May, but was it one of those, hey, you know what, I think I'm just ready to move? Was it a slow creep? Was it something that because you had that 3-year layover, you knew that you needed to be working on? Because I don't even know how you got into a 3-year layover past a 3 hour layover. That's gonna be a whole nother episode, and I'm excited to
Oh yeah.
talk about something like that.
Oh yeah.
How we get laid over in some places that was just supposed to be a stop and go. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like you left the airport is what happened.
And I got stuck. The land of entrapment.
But that's not fair. It's called the land of enchantment. But
I
we'll
mean, you
get
can
back
say
to
what
that
you want
later.
to say.
But what having already established yourself and stuff like that, would you say that like something was just put on your spirit? Because I'm really big on how God's will be done, and how sometimes he'll just will something for your life, or he'll put something on you that you didn't think you wanted to do, and then all of a sudden you just want to do because his will be done. It'll just will in your life, if you will. So
Yeah.
how did that go about? Was it something that you just kind of knew you should have been doing, or did you get this nudge, this urge, this something that said it was time to go?
It was more of an urge and a nudge. Because again, like I said, I probably should have long time ago. I didn't. So this time it was more so, you gotta go. You have to go, like, now.
Like a
And
conviction.
fortunately, yeah, it was more so like, I will say it was spiritual because I mean, I prayed about it, but I didn't know again where I was going. I just know I didn't want to be in New Mexico. So it was a point of, I'll go where you want me to go, but I did have slight stipulations because I didn't want to go back to Florida where I had moved out of here from. I
Mm,
didn't want to go there, and it was like, I kind of just, I don't want to go back. Like, I
never,
don't want to go back. And it's
never.
like, I live there. Yeah, I've done it already. I've seen what it is. I've spent some time in most of the places that I've lived. So again, I'll just have to say it was more so of a nudge, but it was like, I knew it was time to go. My time here was done, or there was done, and it was time to go do something else. So what I did was I put my bait out there, and I
Oh, you cast it out your
decided,
net. You cast it out
yeah,
your net.
I cast it out my net, and I stood on faith that this is where I was going to go. And I mean, things just started happening. Like, Halloween, I didn't have a job, I didn't have a place to stay. And then,
And
two
you had a
weeks
job and a
later,
place to stay.
2 weeks later, I was getting a job. And then that next week, it was like, hey, you've been approved for an apartment. Let's go ahead and move you in. So I literally started my new job, got my keys the same day, and got everything moved in. So, I
Definitely a
mean,
move of not even a step, but definitely a move in faith.
well, and it's definitely a leap of faith. And hey, it was uncomfortable because again, by October, again, my lease was up November 30th. I was uncomfortable. Like, I was forced to, I mean, it was on me, but I mean, I was in a familiar place. Like you said, how can you leave your friends and you've established your a job and relationships? That was all familiar, and I wasn't going to, unfortunately, I wasn't seeing myself going anywhere else where
Mm,
I was
I'm
at.
so
And
glad you said that.
it's,
Awesome.
well, because it's easy to stay where you are because it's familiar, right?
Correct. And feels
But
okay.
yeah, but with that comfort, that holds you back from the river and the wilderness that God's promising for you. So
Mm,
for me, that shit was ooh, excuse me, that was holding me back from being able to do what I needed to do. I knew I couldn't go anywhere else in my job. There was no room for growth. I was
mm,
it. That was it. There was like one in my apartment. There was nowhere else I could go for the convenience again. So I decided, I was like, you know what? There's nothing else left for me. I have to go. And unfortunately, that was a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit, because again, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where I was going to move. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know where I was going to work. I didn't know how my cats were going to get fed, how I was going to live, how my car
not,
was going to get
not
paid,
how the fur
you know?
babies are gonna get fed, okay? But
I mean,
the great thing about that, and I think you and I have talked about this before about being pushed into a blessing. We've
yes.
heard a sermon where it's been said that every blessing that this person had, they had to be pushed into it. He said,
Mm-hmm.
"There's not a
Mm-hmm.
blessing there hasn't been a blessing yet that I hadn't had to be pushed into." Right?
Yep.
So the
Yep.
unfamiliar. But what I do like is you stating how when you took the steps, um, things were allotted and open to you. Right?
Yo, doors
That
started opening.
that is the main thing that we want to talk about when we're centering around a new thing. See, when God
Yep.
says, and that's why we highlighted that. He said, I am doing a new thing. Do you not receive it?
Oh
So you
yeah.
got to receive it. You got to receive that stuff in your spirit. You got to
Yep.
walk it and talk it like you know it. Like it's
Yeah.
happening.
I
And
had to talk like I was moving to Phoenix.
I was
I
going to
told
say it got
everybody
to a
I'm
point
moving
where
to
we were
Phoenix.
just Jazz was I was so excited. Now I get to talk about the parts I did know about and I was privy to. But it got to a point where, me and Jazz were like, it's time to start packing. She didn't know where she was going. She
Nope.
didn't know what to do.
I started packing in
Now,
May.
we found out that, the not knowing sometimes is the best place to be, because it is God that's preparing the new thing for you, not you. So
Yeah.
her being totally vulnerable and being comfortable and confident in the unknown, left her completely dependent on God's will.
Yep.
And so
Completely.
she packed and she started doing the things that had her moving towards the vision. And
Yo.
then the door started opening, and that's definitely what we're talking about tonight, is recognizing a new thing, recognizing when you're getting that nudge, recognizing when you're in a place that you can't grow anywhere else in, you can't do
Yeah.
anything else with. And
Yeah.
sometimes, we talked about how sometimes a setback is a room
Set
for a
up.
comeback or a
Yep.
setup,
Set
right?
up. Yep.
And God is going to do all types of things that we have no idea about, but that's where
Mm-hmm.
the trust comes in. So it is very important that we go ahead and be okay with change. One thing I said, or one thing I stand on, is one thing that's inevitable is change, right? And so,
Yep.
but the other thing that's inevitable is God's plan.
Yep. And I like change.
For
Like I've
somebody,
never been that person that was like, oh, I hate when things go wrong, blah blah blah.
I
Like,
mean, I
no.
get it, but
I
you are the person that's okay with a 3-year layover. Hold up.
I wasn't okay with it, but I mean, I thought things was gonna go differently. I went out there for family, and the family did what it did, and then it was like, okay, well, all right.
Well, now it's time for me to do what I do. But God always has a plan, A, while we're working on our plan, whatever. And
Yep.
as our guest Carlene just said, when it's God's will, everything will fall into place. Not our will,
Hmm.
but His. And I mean, His
Yep.
will be done. And if you are
Always
just completely rebellious of His will and you don't want to be obedient, then you go ahead and live the life that you know, got to settle for. One of the things I was
that.
just talking to my sister the other day about, I'm standing on obedience wins. I've tried it my way. And I was also talking to a cousin of mine the other day where she said, we've tried it our way and we try to do these things and whatever. And we ultimately come back to, okay, God, let it be your will, your way. And I told her, I said, you know how much time we waste when we know we're going to come back to that? I mean, the word says God doesn't
Hmm.
punish you for what you don't know. It's what you do know and you don't apply. So what we do know
Hmm.
is His will be done, right? So if
Yeah.
we're trying something on our own, and I know we're getting the nudges, we're getting the signs, we're getting the feelings that it's time to go and it's time to do a new
Hmm.
thing. And
Hmm.
it's really hard for us to break away and do those things.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
on one of the entrepreneurship shows, I talked about how Queen Angela had made a point about how we're so used to, not used to, but we know what failure feels like. We've fallen,
Hmm.
we've tried some stuff, and we've gone after certain things that we kind of thought we could grasp onto, and we failed, so we know what that feels like. But when we start to step into a new thing, into a new venture, it starts to get scary, because
Yep.
we don't know what either that failure is going to feel like or that success is going to feel like. But
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, you got to know that God is in control. So
Yep.
while we are talking about that new thing, and I've been so excited about all the new things going on. Jazz has done moving and she's gotten a new job, and there's still some more details in there that we just don't have all the time to talk about.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm just gonna throw this in there real quick, that I'm stepping into a new thing. Excuse me, I guess I'm trying to say that I'm actually stepping out into a new thing, where I am trying to be more interactive. I'm really kind of quiet as kept type of person, which is really weird for this podcast. This was something totally new for me, but it was something that God told me to do, and it has really been flourishing. I've had some setbacks. I've had some downfalls. I've had some bad breaks, but
Hmm.
as I've said, that's my story, not the whole story. My story is full of wowsy woo woos, and it's got some bad breaks, and it's got some tears and some fears. But the
Hmm.
whole story is that God showed up for every one of them. God showed up for everything.
Yep.
I can no longer just tell my story without telling the whole story. So even with that being said, it's just been some different things going on. I've met some great people. I've been able to be invited to some tables that I never thought I'd be invited to. I've been, you know, just doing some events that I wouldn't have just, I guess, sought out myself.
Oh yeah.
As you know,
Oh
I just went to the Black Girl Art Show where I volunteered to do some things there, and that was not my bag. I volunteered for a totally different reason. That was not for me. But one thing I am learning and seeing very plain and simply is what God has for me is for me.
yeah.
So what might seem coincidental is actually ordained. It is
Mhm.
planned out. It is what it needs to be. So I'm also seeing that, as Jazz stated, when you start to take a step, how things just open. I was just talking
Yeah.
to my daughter the other day about how it's getting so that every time I take a step towards something, there's something to meet me halfway to keep me going.
Yep.
Maybe that's God knowing me, and He knows that I'll get weary after a minute. He's like, okay, Shynen, I know once you get halfway, you're going to start looking around for, signs and
Something.
landmarks. And I'm so glad that God knows me, though. You know what I mean? To the point where that He's not really accommodating, but He's supporting me. And He's making
Yeah.
sure that He walks with me. So let that be some encouragement to somebody today that you may not want to take that step. It may seem fresh and new and scary, but
Do
it,
it.
it's most likely time. Our procrastinator episode, the patient procrastinator, it gave some great points about being patient, and it gave some points about being a procrastinator.
Oh yeah.
And so you definitely don't want to get stuck. You want to keep
Nope.
moving, keep talking, keep doing something. So I'm so glad that God is doing these new things for us. Jazz is moving literally states into another state and moving differently in her life, and
We're
I'm doing
going nationwide.
I'm doing some different things in my life. But now we're gonna come collectively.
Yep.
So we are excited to talk about the future of Bad to Business. We are
Hey.
trying to go beyond a just a podcast. We are trying to brand so that we can get out into the community and hit the pavement and really help
Yep.
see what we can do for the community and get to talking to some
Yep.
people, getting some interviews with some Congress officials, things like that. We
Yep.
really want to get
Yep.
into what we can do. So we are expanding our creativeness. We are doing a new thing with Roku. Um, I we don't have all the details to that just yet, so I don't want to just give a little bit. But if you stay tuned, keep following us, keep showing up with us as we show it for you, you will know all the
Mhm.
details and you'll hear it first.
Yep.
Um, but I'm really excited about that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
just different things for the podcast. And Jazz, what are you looking forward to doing without giving up too much of what your vision actually is for Bad to Business? What are you looking forward to in the new year?
I mean, as you already said it, like I'm excited to take this leap of faith with you. Like as always, we are always putting that we're always doing it, you know? Yep.
Diving.
No question. And it's the definition of practicing what we preach, right? We are always talking about we're doing new things and we're actually doing it. Like it's scary, but at the same time, this is probably going to be one of the best things ever. And I mean, we're embracing the new thing so that we can bring you guys a bigger, better, bad business. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm
I am
excited.
too. I am too. And just we've touched on it a little bit. We haven't really dove into it or made it a whole conversation, but we will be moving networks. And again, we will follow up with that and give you the links and stuff like that. But we are so appreciative to Queen Angela and the Crew Podcast for having us on here and mentoring and teaching us the ropes about a whole lot of things. And I
Yep.
believe that it is because of the queens that I have come in contact with and been able to engage with and learn from, that we are able to do a new thing. See, I don't even believe that God wanted us to stay in one place, but the queen, Miss Visionary herself, Miss Angela, has been so very supportive, along with the other queens of the podcast. And I mean, we're all doing new things. I think 2026 is really just bringing out a lot of new things in people.
Yep.
I think we've seen that the old things and the old habits and the old ways just are not working. Or if they were working, they worked for that time. So
Yeah.
when God says, "Behold, I'm doing a new thing," like, do you tell God, "Hold up, I'm cool with what I got," or do
I'm
you tell
not
him like,
ready.
"No, like a new thing? What's wrong with the old thing?" Like, do you contest that? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but this has been I mean, it's I can't even call it overwhelming. Really, it's just been divine intervention and connection from God, the ways
Oh
he
yeah.
wants his will done. And we're
Oh
just
yeah.
not gonna play with that. So where I am doing a new thing in my life individually, trying to get out there and speak a little bit more and show up in front of camera and really show y'all my personality, because like I said at the beginning of the year, I lost my dad, and it was a little hard for me to really get excited about what I was doing, or even try to do some exciting things. Coming to the
Yeah.
end of the year and coming on an anniversary of his, I don't want to be doing the same old thing.
Yep.
There's nowhere in the scriptures or even in my life where it says the same old thing is going to be that great. Okay, because I
Yeah.
already tried
Yeah.
it. Um,
Yeah.
so when God is talking about He is doing this new thing with us, um, I'm I'm very excited about it. I know that sometimes going into a new thing can be scary,
Yeah.
but
It's
I'm
worth
definitely
it.
I'm so glad to have you with me, Jazz, and knowing what's going on. And it's definitely it. That's why I say I think it's more than a leap of faith. I think we're actually diving into
Oh
to
yeah.
where we're talking to God a lot, and we're asking Him for a lot of guidance and um,
Yep.
being protected in some things, and we're just doing a whole lot of new things ourselves. And I think
Yep.
and looking back, we're really fueled by God doing a new thing. This
Yep.
is not, it's new to us, but true to Him.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
constantly a new thing with Him. We don't do old
Definitely.
things with Him. So if you find
Just
yourself doing something old in 2026, um, you didn't get the
go.
memo.
You didn't get it.
You didn't get the memo.
Mhm.
So here's the memo that Jazz and I are delivering on this podcast this evening, is that God is doing a new thing. Have you not received it? Have you not received the memo that He's doing a new thing? So if you didn't, here it is. Okay, so now God is waiting on you to apply what you do know now. So
Yep. Yep.
but so like I said, the future of Bad to Business will be one, on a new network, and two, you'll see just some new things going on with us, new ventures. Since Jazz and I are not in the same state, but since Jazz is on the West Coast and I am on the East Coast, one, there's a time difference, but two, because of that time difference, people difference, life difference, we
Yeah.
will be doing different things, but it is
Yep.
all combined to making Bad to Business everything it needs to be, by bringing all diverse discussions to the table. Whatever the discussions may be, if there's something that you like to talk about, we extend the invite right now.
Yep.
Um, but because we are a diverse discussion type of podcast, we are not limited to things, which is another reason why we are trying to make a creative move to kind of expand on our creative freedom. Jazz and I have talked about some different things that, like I said, we want to do individually and collectively, but it's all under one umbrella to make sure that Bad to Business is as successful as God has intended it to be. So we
Yep.
just want to invite everybody to continue to follow us. So when that new link drops and all the new information drops, you're able to follow us. And you know, just receive that new thing. I'm excited to see some of the things you got going on, because again, Jazz is in a totally different state. So sometimes,
Hey.
we talk, but sometimes I gotta wait too. But the good thing is what I'm doing while I'm waiting
Yep.
is a new
That.
thing myself. So I love to be equally yoked with you, Jazz. It has been a pleasure doing all these new these other things with you, because right at one point the things we were doing, this podcast is new. God was doing a new
Yeah.
thing when he had me find Miss Angela, and she opened up a door for me and taught me so many things, and now what he's saying is it's time to forget the former things.
Yep.
And like Jazz, who had to leave relationships and friendships and work ships and all those ships she had to jump from.
Yep.
She jumped ships. She jumped ships, y'all. She jumped ships,
Literally.
and
Yeah.
we have just feel deeply obedient with what our purpose is called. Our feelings may change, but our purpose doesn't. So, um,
Nope.
like I said, the future of Bad to Business is to be continued. We will be dropping some links on how to follow us and how you can follow what we're doing and stuff. But I definitely can promise you that it won't be the same old thing. It will
Hey.
not be the same old thing. I am not the same old Shining. Jazzy is not the same old Jazzy. Okay. I am so excited about Jazzy. And if Jazzy knows what direction I'm headed in, I'm sure she's pretty excited about Shining too.
Pretty excited. Okay.
But anyway, as we round this up, we just wanted to go
Yep.
ahead and extend some love and some support and let everybody know that God is doing a new thing. So forget those things of former. Don't feel like you're missing out on anything. If God is telling you to move, it's because what was is no longer going to serve you purpose. So make sure
Yep.
that you are following and being obedient, and don't listen to the noise around you, because somebody will tell you to stay where comfortable is. Um,
Yo, I've heard that so many times. You
yeah,
gotta know. You gotta go. Do it.
and
Whatever
you
it
know what?
is, do
Let that be a sign that when you're telling, if you decide to tell somebody that you're doing a new thing, the first person that says, "I don't think
it.
you
Don't
should do
do
that,"
it.
go.
Mm-mm.
Take
Bye.
off, get in your rocket, and go. Run. But again, as we are rounding this up, because we don't want to take up too much time, we still have so much more in store and coming for you guys. So please catch us on the next episode of Bad to Business, which will be on December 28th, Sunday at 8 p.m., same time, same place. But won't be the same conversation. I promise you that. We
Yep.
will be coming to the year's end, right? It'll be after Christmas for us. So Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry
But by the time you hear
Christmas.
from us again, we will be talking about another new thing and some other
Yep.
new things and all the things that God is doing. So thank you
Yep.
for joining us on an episode of Bad to Business. I am your host, Shynen and Saffron. This is my co-host, Jazzy. I love you,
Bye.
Jazzy. Thanks
Love
for
you
joining us.
too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.